Hello, welcome to Confessions of a Frustrated Game Master. I am Robert, the narrator, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Confessions. Well, this episode of Confessions, I'm going to get back to the series that I haven't done in a while, the NPCs of Peace. The RPG, which is my series on interesting NPCs from the basic edition of my high fantasy tabletop role-playing game, Peace the RPG. So it's been a while since I've done an episode. I'm going to pick back up, get some more content out there. And as you can probably see from the screen, what we're going to talk about today is an orc chieftain. The orc chieftain's vocation is warrior, and he is a chief level NPC. Now, the basic edition of Peace, the heroes or player characters only go from levels 1 to 3. So the chief represents a level of NPC that you don't want your heroes to come across a whole lot. They are the boss fight, the head of the scheme. They are probably the final battles. These, for first to third level characters, these are the badasses of NPCs for those level of character. As a matter of fact, it was very interesting that a few weeks ago, Jason over at Roleplay Cafe actually ran a one-shot of the game for me and a couple of other guys. And the final boss in the game was an orc chieftain. But you'll see some of the stuff that the orc chieftain does when I go through here. And all I can say is thank God we caught the orc chieftain by surprise. Thank God he was relaxing in his tent, because if he was fully dressed for battle, we may have been in trouble. So I want to thank Jason for that. So the orc chieftain, as you can see here, has 22 attack points for warfare. He's a warrior, so that's his bread and butter, the mundane attacks. He has an influence of 12 attack points, a power of 4 attack points, a defense of 9, willpower of 7, and resistance of 3, and he has 55 hit points. So I'm not going to go over everything, but you can definitely see right in front of you all of his stats. He's wearing medium armor, which gives him basically damage reduction for his for attacks that strike him, and he has a move of 5 and / a move of 8 when he is riding his mount, which is an oxalo. And in the setting, an oxalo is like a woolly rhinoceros, is what I like to say. Very powerful and revered natural animal to orcs in the setting. And you can see the other stats there. And going down to the description, what it says here under the description for the orc chieftain is, you have survived the brutality that is the life of an orc, to rise to power and lead your people. In your eyes, your people see the intensity of elemental fire. In your spine, they see the firmness of the earth. In your decisions, they see the swiftness of the air. And in your tactics, they see the fluidity of water. You are the leader of your people. And the orcs, of course, have night sight in the setting. So let's get to the abilities of the chieftain, and you'll soon see why it was really good that we caught this orc chieftain by surprise, because he definitely can do some damage in combat or in a physical conflict. So he has a great sword that does 18 points of damage. And on a 5 or 6 on the fate die of his attack with that great sword, if he is mounted on his oxalo, the oxalo will also gore you. And that means that the target automatically loses 8 hit points and must make a challenging strength check or fall prone. So a strength check of 12 to not fall prone if the orc chief's Oxalo gores you as part of his attack with his greatsword. The Orc Chieftain is a beast, which means he has additional hit points because he's huge and powerful. Jason did a fantastic job of describing the Orc Chieftain as a 7-foot tall mountain of orc muscle that we were facing down in the last scene of the one shot that he ran for us. And then the Orc Chieftain has Skin of Elemental Water. It's a magic item, and basically in the setting, what Skin of Elemental Water is the orcs have a ritual magic that they can perform, and they are able, as part of one of their racial abilities, they can actually see and communicate with elementals, and through that ability, they can also perform rituals that allows them to take some of the elemental's essence from them, from the elemental, and bond that elemental essence to flesh. So the Orc Chieftain has, his skin is covered with elemental water, and the benefit that he has with that is that if a successful warfare damage check is made against him, but a 5 or 6 was not rolled on the fate die, you have the damage after applying his physical armor. So this magical skin of elemental water that is bonded to his flesh gives him protection. What I like to say, it's kind of like fantasy cyberware almost. So I really love that concept in the game, and the Orc Chieftain definitely has that, and it's very useful. Then his next ability is called the Orc Storm, and the orcs within 10 squares or 50 feet of you perform warfare damage checks at a +1 bonus. So that means that orcs that are close to him in battle get a bonus from his leadership. And then you have the Oxalo here, and basically what this describes for you is if you wanted to attack the chieftain's Oxalo, if he's mounted on his Oxalo, it gives you the stats there and what you would have to do to attack his Oxalo. So in the game, if you were going to use a chieftain, Jason did an amazing job. As I said, this at first to third levels for the basic edition heroes, the chieftain is going to be the head of a particular scheme. He is going to be the final boss battle, and you definitely would want to work up to him. I think that the reason that Jason may have, and I didn't ask him this, but had him in a situation where he was unarmored and we could sneak up on him, is because he would have been a handful for first level heroes if he was completely dressed for battle. I mean, because basically we had an orc in our group of heroes, and the orc was actually somewhat of a ranger and had a animal companion bear. Excuse me. And in And in one round, the Orc Chieftain, with his bare hands, no pun intended, pummeled our Ranger's bear companion to a pulp in one round. So this Orc Chieftain is not to be taken lightly. And if you are running a campaign, adventure, or a session where you are using orcs, because in the basic edition of the game, we also have Orc Raiders. Orc Raiders here. So if you are using orcs in your game, maybe you have an adventure where there may be raiding going on, or because the orcs live in a warrior culture. They believe in conquering and taking from the weak and respecting strength. So they have orcs, they don't raid and pillage because they are evil or because they are green. They raid and pillage because their culture is one built on strength and the warrior mentality. So that is why they may raid or pillage, not because orcs are naturally evil or anything of that nature. But you can run a campaign where maybe towns have been having issues with orc raiders, and the player characters go to relieve the villages of this threat, and they come across the orc chieftain, or maybe the heroes of the game wander into the territory of an orc tribe, and they have to deal with orcs and the orc chieftain, or maybe they have to make some type of deal. Maybe the heroes want to go out and purchase some of the elemental magic that the orcs can do to maybe have an arm of elemental earth, which increases their hand-to-hand damage, or like the orc chieftain here, a skin of elemental water, which reduces damage if your opponent doesn't roll high enough on their damage check. So they would have to wheel and deal with the orcs, and they may have to ask permission from an orc chieftain. So those are the ways that I would use the orc chieftain in your game. Jason did a fantastic job, and we were able to defeat the orc chieftain, but it wasn't easy to do so. Believe you me. As first level heroes, we were only first level in the game. So thanks for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed the Orc Chieftain, maybe get some ideas on how he can be used, and talk to you later. Again, thanks for checking out the video. See you later.